All right, good evening, guys. Ken at Tortoise Capital, nightly strategy podcast for Friday night, June 23rd, 2023. I'll post the reports a little bit later tonight. Let's start with a swing portfolio review on the 30-minute charts, beginning with Alcoa, and then working our way down. So Alcoa, we started with a caught a 2 short and just scratched it. No overnight risk. No result. AI was a good continuation short of the collapsing dragon from here. This is a continuation pattern of that long slide. Standard risk, short, and exit it when it reaches the edge of the dragon, and that's +2. Caterpillar, no trade. Cliff, no trade. Chevron, CVS, excuse me. We're in the second day of that COTA 2 trade. It's still crunching along. Tried the short in Devon Energy, scratch. No trade in Electronic Arts or in emerging markets. I like this as a base for Monday. We'll see if it can get a rebound back up into this region. But there was no reason to hold that one over the weekend. Ethereum initiated a 1-2-3 entry at the COTA 2. It closed pretty well. It's up about 2R. Mexico covered the short for 4R. Brazil, no trade. Intel initiated the COTA 2. Here I saw this. And there was a little buying pressure in here from the gap up. It sold off and then held support above yesterday's support. So I like that as a COTA 2 going forward. And if we get any kind of optimism over the weekend for tech and the markets, that should do well. IP covered the short for an R. IYR initiated the short on now this is a classic pocket entry. So I want you to note that we've got these lower highs all the way down, and so that makes any break below this a collapsing dragon, which makes this a pocket entry. So this is the pocket entry between the peak of the RL10 and the belly of the RL10, which is going to be the CD. So that makes this area inside here a pocket entry, and this entry is an effort to front run. So you get the RL10, which did this, and now that makes this a pocket entry front running the collapsing dragon, and then the collapsing dragon collapsed, but we're already holding it from here on a tight little wrist box, and that gives us 1, 2, +3, and it's dropping like a rock. And then this was winter, spring, winter, and getting ready to fall out of the Red River. IYR could be a big winner on Monday. KRE just continuing to ride the collapsing dragon short for the second day. McDonald's. So we tried the SSC yesterday, so we saw this, and we tried that as a SSC because it was still above all of these support levels. And we had the typical tight risk box on it. However, it gapped down to here, so that's a -2R, and then that I stopped and reversed that. So here's the short, the same one that covers the long, now initiates the short, and this one is 1, 2, 3, +3, so it nets +1 for that whole sequence. This is, I think of that as the revenge trade. Merck added a second position at the emerging dragon, and that closed very well, and that's up about 4R right now. Microsoft, no trade. Marijuana, the initiated the. This is also a pocket trade again. So you have a high, a lower high. Here is the base right here. So that base creates a collapsing dragon entry right here. So now if we notice the RL10 right here, that makes this region inside here a pocket. So after it has peaked and after the RL10 has come through the dragon, that makes this a pocket entry, and it violates, as soon as it violates the PSAR, so here's the PSAR. As soon as that PSAR gets violated, look how quickly that fails. So that's the justification for entering in the pocket right there. Okay, and that's holding a little over an R. And realistically, that could come back down to 540. NVIDIA, no trade. Clean Energy initiated the SSC because why not? No, as you were. I can't even read my own chart. We got short so long ago that I even forgot it was there. Holy mackerel. What we did was cover that short because it failed to fail further. This is supposed to fail, and it didn't. So we're already quietly holding on to 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11R. Where did that one sneak up on us? Where were we on the second position? And the third position, see, there's the pocket. Now all you can see are pockets everywhere you look. And this would be a collapsing dragon. This would be a collapsing dragon. This would be a collapsing dragon. That would be a collapsing dragon. So you can miss all of those things and still stumble into 11R. It's like finding a Christmas present behind the reclining chair in February. Where did that come from? Rivian, I guess benign neglect should. That's where the span of control was favorable, right? So this one is holding 5R, and this is Rivian, and there's no resistance over here at all. So this thing can still fail a lot further. And this is winter, spring, and getting ready to fail into winter. It's just beginning to fail. So, yay. Tesla, no trade. U.S. Steel, no trade. Sniper trade of the day. So this is AI. And you saw the swing trade on that one already. This is the power of the turbo. So here's where it closed. Here was the gap. It went as high as here and as low as there in that first opening range 3, which would make this, an entry long, and would make this an entry short. And in the next bar over, it actually collapsed, so we're short. And the risk box on this one is almost the same as the OR3. So that's the risk. That's the size of the risk box right there. This is where the 2R battle drill gets invoked. 1, 2. So we would add, and that's where the 4R battle drill gets invoked. Let's clear the deck here. And this one gets us 3R on the first cycle. So it drops like a stone. 2R battle drill adds, recovers to here. And now you can see where the edge of the dragon. So after the R10 the RL10 rolls over, then I'm looking for price exiting at the edge of the dragon, and that gives us 3R on two positions. And then this becomes an SSC or a morning hook. That gives us a minus 0.2. That becomes a continuation pattern, a kata 2 to the downside on the break of the PSAR for 1.2. Reinitiate for a scratch, stop and reverse for a scratch. And that was the day in AI. Net of 4R, doing routine things routinely. This is a setup here in FLM by Steve. Let's see if we can't see what he's got going on here. So late in the day, he's looking to set up this little PSAR flip. Where's my pen? Come on. To replace this tab. So he sets up a little PSAR flip, and he buys it here, and he's looking to see this recover. He'll add a second position and a third position above these breaks. He's ready to stop and reverse and go that way. I would notice that this, if you see this support level, that makes this a collapsing dragon for those of you playing along at home. And your wrist box would have been here. 1, 2, 3. So there was a 3R collapsing dragon hidden in there. All right, Damien, let's see what we got going on here. So he's got the gap down. It runs up, breaks down a second time, lower highs, gets short with a standard risk, takes a fractional, little fractional win, no lose plus dinner for 2. He sees this. This could have been a kata 2 here. He essentially gets the same one here, standard risk, gets paid 0.75 for the day. Didn't have a lot of sleep, but still, you got as much out of that as there was to get, to be honest. That's pretty good shooting. Hamad, I still feel like you're not giving these things room to breathe. Like, I think your wrist box is too small. Because you're letting this thing, you're getting out in the middle of the dragon, which is the middle of the noise. That is not even a signal. Whereas if you just stay short, this thing stays in all the way down into here, and I just feel like you're taking significant losses, more than half an R, and you're just cutting off your own fingers here, because we're not making. I think your wrist box is too small. Like this OR3, if you're short here, this is a 1, 2, 3 entry, and that's a trade. But this one's not even moving. And I think waiting for this all the way down here to enter, I mean, if you're going to enter that because of the gap down, and this thing fails before it even gets to the PSAR, it feels like we could be getting short around here instead of down here. But you did stay out of the chop. That's good. But that's way too much loss for, and I think it's because it's the OR3 is too small for you. Remember I think the R10 is too small. It's making you jump the gun when you shouldn't. OR3 entry. Quick cut. Just get short right there. If it ain't working, cut it and reverse. Although I do respect the idea of getting out there. That's a pretty good exit. That's good. That's a good re-entry. Now you're trying to make everything back. Quick loss. Now that's a great re-entry. That's more like it. You know, you're not waiting for it to get all the way up into here. You're just instantly revert. When this doesn't fail, you're getting better here. And then that's a good quick re-entry. So that's pretty good stuff. You make 2.2 on this one, but this one's short. Cut it, and then you're long here. You know, yeah, you get paid, and you re-enter, I suppose. This is not even close. Is that close to 2R for a 2R battle drill? Maybe. This thing can get short right here. That's where the PSAR flip is. That's waiting an extra. That gave back an R. Get paid. Quick scratch, quick scratch. Here's that Z3 pinch and breakout. There wasn't much in there. This is the definition of a sideways quiet channel in here. This stupid tablet. Yeah, this is all sideways quiet channel. You're just feeding the crocodiles in here. After 2, cut it. If you're going to do that. I mean, it makes micro bank here on the day, but you're trading inside the dragon. There's 3 trades in there inside the dragon. That's way too tight. Just want to highlight a few. Maybe like market classification stuff. Now let me hit this one. You'll see this highlighted in the report. So this weekend's report, I'm sorting by. I'm going to sort this one by the reward to risk ratio. So on this one, what we're looking at is the reward to risk ratio, and this is the ones that are better. This is the 2-to-1, the 2-to-1 threshold. Emerging markets, I mentioned before. SPY itself, I like Microsoft right here. And then everything else is well below the 2-to-1 reward to risk. So only a handful of things setting up there. This is the SPY 3-day. This little rollover here is problematic. This is right at the support level. You know, this all kept getting better and better, and this was the first breakout above that peak. So this little this is getting perilously close to a false breakout. So it has got to start working right away Monday. Otherwise, it's back down into here and then to here. So this is a crucial time in the market on Monday and Tuesday next week. On the 9-day, we're actually still looking pretty good on the 9-day. You know, the PSAR support is there. This is where it broke into the summer. It's still above that line at 433, but I think your stop has got to be at 430. You can't let this thing drift all the way back to the PSAR. We want to preserve that, and we want it to go up to get to here to 480 and really 460, which is the peak of the dragon. So this is a compound critical state right in here, both on the 3-day and the 9-day. So we want to highlight that. If I look at this just from the regression line perspective, you know, what I've got here is I've turned off the price data altogether, the bars. So we're just looking at the the RL270. Which broke down to here, got flat, came back to here. That's the bottoming action. And then the 270 has just been chugging straight along like that. The 90 has done a quicker turn, broke up, down, and up. So this has had, in terms of like a kata toot kind of an action, here, 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 and here. And now this is coming into play here because, you know, the RL270 is still trucking northward while the RL30 is rolling downward and coming into play here. So they're coming in, this is coming into a crucial intersection. What happens here? We want that 30 to roll up without crossing the 90. And of course the problem is that the 10 has already broken through his own little dragon. So now you can see the RL30 and the 90 all coming together at this intermediate posture. That is a meeting engagement. Is the long-term strength of the 90 going to be confidence-inducing enough? Like, here's where all of that stuff was getting along together. And then right about here, instead of failing back, it boosted to here and got back up to 440. But now it's rolling over, and now is the strength of the 90 going to be enough to offset the weakness that's emerging in the 10 and 30? Now, the longer term trend based on the 270 is still good, but now you can see we are in a tactical moment, looking to see a buy on dip opportunity, or is this going to be guys that are simply going to cut their gains right here and say, look, I'm going to preserve these gains. I want to preserve this move, and I'm willing to cut it here. If they don't come in and buy this, then this has a good chance to drift all the way back to 420. And this is how we can use that RL 270 as something like a target in time. Okay? So I wanted to just highlight that. All right, that's everything I got for you tonight. We'll get the reports out here in about an hour. Oh. Yeah, I think he should be using 3 times that box, because he's taken losses greater than 0.5 routinely on signals that are exiting inside of the dragon, and it's driving him frustrated. So he needs to have a much wider stop so that he's not so quick on the trigger, and let those trades unfold more. That's my recommendation there.
Either that,
Yeah,
or you should change to a bigger time frame.
or that, like the 30-minute. I've been trying to suggest the 30-minute time frame. Uh,
It's magic.
I mean, you just saw 20R get pulled out of the market today.
Yep.
30
I
minute bar. It's easy.
Yep.
Just saying. Yeah, I
Good night,
got a
all.
VTI call on Monday for. We're gonna just review some of the greatest hits of the foundations and creativity courses. We'll talk a little bit about the book
Cool.
and the educational coaching going forward. All right, I got
Cool
to get
breeze,
back to
man.
work on the reports.
All right.
So I'll catch you guys.
Ciao for now.